What's going on, good people? It is your man, D-Toll, and it is another day's journey. Want to welcome everyone to Shop Talk, everyone's favorite show, right here on everyone's favorite network. Listen, we do have an incredible show lined up for you today. It's going to be absolutely amazing, as I think it always is. So, those of you tuning in, listen, do me a favor. The one I ask you to do all the time. You know what you got to do. Get on the phone, call, text, tweet, Facebook, MySpace, Instagram, Social Cam, Periscope, Marco Polo. But you know who you got to tell. You got to tell your mama them, Ray Ray, Shay Shay, Day Day, Delicious them, Nut Nut them, Pojo them. Let them all know that we are live right here, right now on the Shop Talk family of networks. And I am excited about today's show. Listen, if this is your first time tuning in to Shop Talk, welcome. You're probably trying to figure out, what am I tuned into? Don't worry, I got you. You are tuned into Shop Talk, everyone's favorite show. You know what it is? It's that barber shop. You've heard it before. You know what goes down in the beauty shop. It now happens and goes down in the coffee shop, the nail shop, and even, thank you, Lord Jesus, the donut shop talk, where literally no person and no subject is off limits. My name is Demetrius Tollfree. How do you know? Because it says so right there on the screen. And you can follow me everywhere at DTollfree, at DTOLEFREE. That's on Facebook. That's on Twitter, X, if you use it. That's on Instagram and so many other places. You can find me with the same handle of DTollfree. All right, y'all, listen. Those of you who are hanging out with us, I want to let you know that today is going to be an absolutely amazing show. But before we jump into it, I want to just, first of all, again, welcome you, whether you're watching us live on Facebook or YouTube, or maybe even on Instagram, wherever it is you might be tuned in from. We are grateful to have you hanging out with us. And as we go through today's show, you know, this is a talk back to me type of environment. So feel free to chime in the chat, and we'll do all that we can to get your comments on the screen and make things happen. Shout out to those of you who are hanging out with us on one of our radio partners from around the country. We say welcome. We are grateful to have you with us. Shout out and thank you to each station manager, program director that allows Shop Talk to be a part of their network. All right, y'all, without further ado, let's get ready to get things going. And in doing so, we're going to get ready to bring up our first co-host of the day, which means that we have to have... I didn't like that one. Try it again, sir. Yeah, we got to get a knock at the door. And in doing so, that means that we're going to go out to the city of Hercules, California, as we get ready to bring up my homie and yours, the incredibly talented, the young one. We'll call her the young one today because she's a couple days younger than me. Anyway, let's bring her up without further ado, my friend and my homie, Ashlyn Tara. Oh, Ashlyn, girl, what's going on?
I mean, I'm here. I'm back from South America. I'm back from Detroit. I was in Detroit for a few days. I feel rested and rejuvenated. I feel inspired. And wow, let me tell you, I feel like I'm talking a little slower because I'm so relaxed. I feel like I look younger. I'm looking at my face. I'm like, am I aging in reverse? My skin is glowing. I was able to get in some sun. I know this is what I look like when I'm in sun. It's not much difference, okay? It's not much difference, but I feel amazing. I really feel amazing. And it was a wonderful trip, and I missed y'all. And I'm happy to be back, D-Toll.
Absolutely. We're glad to have you back. Welcome back to the United States of America, as it is at this present moment. Listen, this is absolutely a great time for the present moment. We're going old school. When we first started Shop Talk, man, has it been 10 years now, I think.
At least.
Yeah,
I feel like at
10
least.
years now, and we started. It was just myself, or if we was going old school, Tony, just me and you. Anyway, I can't get them notes out today, but it's all good. I am glad to have you hanging out with us, and we're going to make things happen. So, speaking of making things happen, shout out to a couple of people hanging out with us. First of all, my guy is in the building, the Bay Area's MC and host, Stephen Parker, in the building. What is going on, man? And thank you, sir. He's saying congratulations to us. And speaking of congratulations, we'll talk a little bit about it. And I forgot to mention it last week, Ashlyn. Freedom Radio, our home network, as of last Tuesday, Wednesday, we are now 15 years old. We turned 15 years old last week. I forgot to mention it. It slipped right through my memory bank, but I wanted to take a moment to mention it. We'll talk a little bit more about it as the show goes on. But Ashlyn looked like he was trying to get my attention. Go right ahead.
I was just going to give Stephen Parker a shout out. He is, if you are in the Bay Area and you take a trip to Yoshi's to see any real show, I mean, every show that I feel like I've gone to see, Stephen Parker has been hosting. And so I just wanted to give him a shout out. This past Sunday, I was so blessed by the amazing Fred Hammond, who was at Yoshi's on Easter Sunday night. And it was absolutely amazing. If you know, you know. Let me tell you, we danced, we shouted, we laughed. Some people cried. We just had a good old time in the Lord. And shout out to Yoshi's for even allowing those type of concerts to take place. It was absolutely amazing. And Stephen, you did a wonderful job per usual. So it was really great. It was really great. I had some people see, I guess, Steve, I don't know if you, Stephen, you went live during the concert, but I had some people to hit me up and be like, I saw you on the live. I don't know where that was or when that was or anything like that, but I got found out. I got found out that I was in the audience at Yoshi's. And I went with my girls, and it was just absolutely amazing. We had a wonderful time, and Fred sounded fantastic. Now he's hurt right now. He you know, if you've been following him, he is having some health challenges, and he sat the whole time. But let me tell you, his health challenges are not affecting the anointing and the oil that is in that man's throat. He was absolutely amazing. Background singer's amazing. The band was phenomenal, funky. It was just great. It was great. Detail, I thought I might see you in the audience.
Yeah, no, I wasn't able to make it, but I'm glad that you had a good time. You know,
The
the older
tickets was $130 now.
they were
Tickets
expensive.
high.
They were
It was
expensive.
high tickets.
Yeah, it was expensive, but you know, that was a chance for me to spend some time with my family, and so I took advantage of that. We got a chance to go, and you know, obviously, I played for two churches on Sunday mornings, and then when we left, we went to Fleming's to kick our feet up and eat some steak and all this other stuff that go along with it. So that's what I did with that particular time. So grateful to have had that time with my family to make things happen. So
Nice.
shout out to everyone else though that did go and have a good time. Hopefully everything was amazing. So anyway, we're going to keep things going. Shout out to my homie Vicky Hendricks in the building. Vicky Hendricks Murray, if let me get that correct.
Sister.
What's going on, Vicky? Glad to have you hanging out with us. Shout out to Tracy J. Wilson, who is with us on YouTube. Glad to have you hanging out with us as well. Speaking about hanging out with us, let's get ready to bring up our next co-host. We're going to stay in the same city of Hercules, California. However, we're going to go out of Ashland's G14 classified location and make a couple turns and go up the street. Yeah, it's G. We don't know what I said. Anyway, let's get ready to bring up our next guy. We can't do it without getting the doorbell. He and I got a chance to hang out last week.
You told me.
Yeah, after the show, we went to hang out. We went to a specific place that we was trying to try out. Come to find out, they're closed on Wednesday. I did reach out to them on Instagram. Like, hey, I didn't know y'all was closed. They hit me back. Sorry, we just started closing on Wednesday. But we did get a chance to kick our feet up, partake of some goodness and mercy, food, and had a great time. But let's bring him up today without further ado. My guys in the building, Ja'Cory Prothro. Man, what is going on?
Oh, happy 3 days after resurrection. He still got up. So I had to get up this morning. Hallelujah. I hope everybody's good. What's good?
Man, all is well, man. Glad to
Them
have you
glasses.
hanging out with
Them
us. Yeah, I
glasses
see
is
you.
good. Them
My
glasses is good.
my Mary J's. How you
Mm.
doing?
Yeah, I see. I see you ready for us today.
Mm.
I'm not mad at you. It is all good. Uh-huh.
Oh my bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Dito.
It's all good. I'm not mad at y'all. Listen, want to give a couple more quick shout outs. Shout out to Patricia Cummings, who is in the building. Also, shout out to my homie Annette Gray, formerly of Richmond, California, but now abides in Memphis, Tennessee. And glad to have her hanging out with us. Annette, do you still work for Nike? If you do, holla at your boy. Just wanted to see and make sure that we still going in the same direction. Anyway, Tracy J. Wilson giving the personal shout outs on YouTube. All right, y'all, we're ready to get things going. And in doing so, yes, ma'am, what's going on as we go forward in today's show? Let's get ready to let's do the National Day because I only got one. Ja'Cory Hill, appreciate that. Today's National Day, we only have one. And today is National Zoo Lovers Day. So if
Huh?
you are National Zoo Lovers Day?
No,
It does
Yeah.
not. It sounded like you said something different, but okay. Zoo
What did it
lovers.
sound like I said?
I did. That's why I asked, huh? That's why I said, huh?
Okay, yeah. No, zoo, Z-O-O, Z as in zebra, O-O. National Zoo Lovers Day. So those of you who would like to go, what did you think I said?
I don't know.
Okay,
It don't
no
matter. I
worries.
didn't know that there were zoo lovers. I
Yeah.
didn't know that we had a community of people that call themselves zoo lovers. I didn't know. I didn't know. That's
You mean like the zoo, like the Oakland Zoo, not the church zoo?
Right? Yeah, no, not the
whoa,
church. So
whoa. Wait a
that's
minute.
a whole different
Wait,
type of love.
that's a
Because
whole nother topic.
it's a lot of animals at the church zoo.
Ooh, Ja'Cory, don't come on back. Come on back, Ja'Cory. Come on
I'm not
back.
doing it today.
Now, Dito, I do have today in Black History. I don't know if that's all right. If I
I will get to that in just a second.
Okay,
All
wonderful.
right. So as we move on, I'll start with the normal stuff in today's history, and then we'll throw it out to Ashland. But today in history, I have two things, and again, I'm sure that Ja'Cory will appreciate this. First, in the year of 1960, the U.S. Senate passes the Civil Rights Bill addressing discriminatory voting practices. This was in 1960 when this happened. And then last but not least, 1983, I remember this on TV. 1983, I was a young fella, but David Copperfield magically makes the Statue of Liberty disappear. I remember this like it was yesterday. I saw it on TV live. It had to have been on NBC or something like that. I was about 12 or 13 years old. But David Copperfield made the Statue of Liberty somehow disappeared. So that was in 1983. So those are our days today in history. But Ashton says that she has today in Black history. So we throw it out to you, Ashton. Go right ahead.
I do. I am the resident Black History teller. I don't know how that happened, but here we are. Okay. So today in Black History, in 1974, which was a good year, my favorite year, actually. It was the year that I was born. Yep, I'm telling on my age. Yes, 1974. Hank Aaron hit his 715th career home run against the Los Angeles Dodgers at Atlanta Stadium, surpassing Babe Ruth's record, a milestone that symbolized grace under intense pressure and racism. I know the Dito will appreciate that because he is our resident sports buff, if you will. He knows all the stats. He knows all the players. So hammering Hank Aaron. There are a couple other things that happened, but I'm going to give you one more. In 1993, famed contralto opera singer Marian Anderson, who broke racial barriers in classical music, passed away at the well-lived age of 96. And so that's today in Black History, April 8th.
Good stuff. I can appreciate that. And last but not least, what we will do in this time is we will do our birthdays. And today in birthdays, I only have two. I'm following the guidance of Jacory, so I'm to minimize this particular segment, but I only have two. Many of you may remember the Dukes of Hazzard. I grew up on that, watching that show, not knowing later in life that it had some racial stuff going on that I didn't know about. But when I was a kid, I didn't know. Anyway, the young man that played Bo Duke, John Snyder. Many of you know him, and lot of people I went to school with had a crush on him. But anyway, John Snyder turned 66 today, so happy birthday to him. And then last, passed in 2021, but was born this day in 1964. You got what I need. But
Hey,
you say he just a friend.
bing,
But
bing.
you say he just a friend. Hey, the incredible Biz Markie was born this day in 1964. Again, he did pass in 2021, but we pause today to remember him, an incredible rapper that was bigger than life. He reminded me, of a person. Anywhere he went, he just embraced everybody. So an amazing guy that is definitely being missed. Ashton, we throw it back out to you as we normally do at the end of this segment for you to encourage people who are having birthdays during this time. The virtual floor is now yours.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dito. And I think that's so interesting what Dito just said about the shows that we grew up on, having these underlying messages or it's so very, very interesting because we come back and we look at all those things. But it just goes to show you that all things change. Things change. What happened yesterday is not necessarily what it is today. And so if you haven't celebrated a birthday in the past, I'm going to encourage you to celebrate your birthday today. If it's your birthday today on April 8th or this whole week, whatever day, celebrate your birthday. And here's why. Oh, I don't want to make it about me. It's not about you. You're celebrating God's creation and God's workmanship in you. So when you celebrate, now it depends, you could really be like egotistical and do all that stuff. You ain't got to spend a lot of money. You ain't got to do none of that stuff. Get yourself in a nice outfit, do your hair, your makeup, get your nails done, your hands, your feet. Man, you can get a mani-pedi. It's all right. Go to the barber shop. Take care of yourself. Go out and do something nice to celebrate God's creation of you. So from all of us here at Shop Talk, Freedom Radio, all of our affiliates, happy birthday.
That's good stuff, Ash. We appreciate you doing all that. And let me bring up some of these comments because we've got some more people who've been hanging out with us. So I was talking about today is National Zoo Lovers Day. My guy Leon Johnson says, "Oh, so I need to go to take a trip to Nolan Park today." Yeah, you can and you should. Shout out to Patricia Cummings, who says that yes, I'm a zoo lover, and that she is enjoying a good zoo. Welcome, Yolanda. She just pops in. And anyway, good morning to my cousin Carmen Tollfree, who had a birthday a couple of days ago. What's going on? Shout out to Sharon Pringle Matthews in the building. Alicia Dace in the building. My bro, Danny Ford in the building. BTK, Alan McPherson in the building, who says his mother's birthday is today. I'm not mad at you, bro. Shout out to Ted Talks Bass hanging out with us on YouTube. Also, Patricia Cummings, who mentioned that her husband, who she says is not a famous actor, but he's her famous husband. I'm not mad. Had a birthday on Sunday, and it is all good. Shout out to Diamond Fee. Haven't seen her in a while. So what is going on, Diamond Fee? Shout out to Sonny Vaughn, also in the building. What's going on? Shout out to Bishop Charles Reed, who had a birthday recently as well. So shout out to my bro. What's going on, man? And then last but not least for right now, Mama Yolanda is in the building, Yolanda Prothro. Glad to have her hanging out. All right, y'all, as we continue on, as you see, Yolanda Morant has made her appearance without an introduction, but it is all to the good. Glad to have you hanging out with us today. Shout out to Karen Weston hanging out with us in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I mentioned Danny Ford a minute ago. He's in Texas City, Texas. Shout out to Lucinda Taylor from Lathrop, California, who's in the building as well. Got a chance to hear her have one of the 7 last sayings of Jesus on the other day at Good Samaritan Cathedral, my home church, and so much more. All right, y'all, we've got a million things going on. Let's get things going, and in doing so, let's get ready to talk about something that's happening in the news. But before we talk about the news specifically, I mentioned at the outset of the show that I forgot, I failed to mention last week. I failed to mention last week that last Wednesday was actually our home network, Freedom Radio. We turned 15 years old last week. And I think that that is a great accomplishment for an internet radio station. We started out with so many other radio stations, and Yolanda Morant knows this. We started out with so many other radio stations, internet radio stations that have now, for lack of a better term, fallen by the wayside or no longer in business or have turned their attention elsewhere. And I think the mere fact that we are still here after 15 years, listen, I think that is a cause for a celebration. We talked about how we should have had a anniversary party. It didn't happen, but it's all good. We'll figure out something before the year is out. Maybe we just get together somewhere and go have our pom-poms and drink some strong water with lemon in it. You know what I'm saying?
Strong
And make
water.
something happen.
You know what?
Yeah.
Strong water.
That's all I drink.
To each his own. To each his own. Amen.
Absolutely. It's all to the good. Well, how about we just get some Kool-Aid? It don't matter to me. Some red Kool-Aid, purple, grape. It's all good. It doesn't matter. But I want to say to all of you who've been hanging out with us this whole time, thank you for all of your support. And for from day one to now, many people have been with us the entire time, whether they have Freedom gear or have done photo shoots with us or come to previous events that we've had or just download the app and listen to music from time to time. I'm not mad at you. I appreciate all of the love and support, and it means so very much. All right. Shout out to Dr. Shirley Gaines in the building. We also have my bro, David McKinney, in the building. It is all good. Let's continue to make things happen. Now, let's jump into the news. Let's jump into the news. And in the news, last week was an interesting week in the state of Texas, in the Fort Worth area, as our friend, the Bishop Marvin L. Sapp, got married. I should have had that picture available. But anyway, many of you have been keeping up with it. He got married on last week, had a helicopter ride and all types of things, had an amazing, amazing event. And so we shout out to him for his new wife, who he married. What is her name? Laboris something, another call. What's her name?
I think Laboris,
Laboris, something like that. Yeah. Well, in this instance, First Lady Sapp. How about that? So we are grateful.
That works.
Yeah, it works. So we mentioned this particular thing being in the news for two reasons. One, congratulations on the wedding. From the pictures I saw, it was absolutely amazing. He had on a custom black tuxedo. He and I share the same tailor, but I definitely stepped my tuxedo game up because I don't have one. And his was absolutely amazing. So shout out to Pastor and Bishop Marvin Sapp. Again, congratulations on the wedding. But I stopped, I do a ... because this past Sunday, he was able to do his formal introduction of his new wife, and then she took it upon herself to read the right act to the congregation and to hush the naysayers as she took to the microphone to let us know that the church did not pay for the wedding, that it was paid for by personal funds of their own, and that whatever talking you were doing about that, you can hush it up and no longer worry about that. But I want to stop there. Now this was her introduction to the church as the First Lady. We've been talking recently about knowledge and wisdom, and we've been talking about just being wise in our time that we spend in front of people. I'm gonna just stop here and just put a pin here and ask y'all, what do y'all think about her timing of the information that she shared on Easter Sunday in her introduction to First Lady?
She's got her hands up. Go, Yolanda.
So,
Go right ahead.
normally, good afternoon, beautiful people.
Praise the Lord.
Normally, I'm I'm still very big about wisdom and timing, but I also understand I also know what it feels like to be vigorously. I've never talked about it publicly. I also know what it's like to be the blunt of a joke, to be vigorously picked on, and not have the. Sorry,
Oh,
am I back? Sorry,
You're there.
and
We'll
not
get
have the opportunity to vindicate for yourself.
yes.
And so I know people most likely say, I absolutely, in all caps, positively, unequivocally loved it. Because I think what happens a lot of times is people. Now I'm not for being out of control or anything like that, but I think I saw people in the comments say, oh, this is the first kind of, these are the new first ladies. No, what happens is for decades, first ladies have been quiet. They have been in the corner. They have taken abuse from people. And I think she said, I'm not doing that. And we don't know her story previous to. But I think she felt like, no, I'm not doing that. And I love, maybe it's the boss girl in me, when she said, I pay for the helicopter. I thought it was great. That's my real truth. I'm not saying that you should get up, you have to be boisterous. No, I'm not saying that. But I am saying she's coming into a new space where everybody feels like she has to bow down and be something she's not, whatever. Me personally, I loved it. That's the way I would do it. I loved it. And I love that she paid for the helicopter herself. Because people
I'm
were
not
making, but I mean, people were saying that's what he did with the money when the whole, close the doors. And I think she just wanted to set the record straight.
okay.
So,
I'm not mad at you. I mean, and again, to each his own. Everyone has their own opinion. I'm not sure that was the most wisest of times to do it, but I think it's something that should have been said, but maybe it should have been said at a different time. But again, to each his own. Ashton, I throw it out to you. Same topic. I mean, what do you think about this whole situation of the timing of her comments?
I have a couple perspectives. One, I think that there's a time and a place for everything. And I don't know that that was the time or the place. I actually, doesn't happen very often, but I actually disagree with Yolanda because I think that the Bible even talks about having wisdom, having spiritual insight, having humility, having strategic leadership. In Proverbs. And so I don't know that that was the time or the place. Now, everybody has their own personality, and I certainly do not want anyone to feel like they can't have their personality. I think that it's really important to remember that God has created us in his image, but he has created us uniquely. We are wonderfully, uniquely made, right? Nobody's fingerprint is the same. We're all different. We all have different gifts and different things that we bring to the table. But it seemed a little, it was a little, it was a little abrasive. It was a little abrasive. And I feel like it was a little emotional. And I don't know that that was the way to acknowledge it. I think that sometimes quiet is power. I think sometimes you let people have their bickering and their opinions and their gossip and their time and all that stuff. And you just sit back and you just let them spin themselves right up into a little web of confusion. And you just say, God bless you. I guess by her reaction, they have been under quite a bit of scrutiny because it seemed like it was stressful for her. It seemed like it was aggravating for her. And maybe that's not true, but that was the impression that I got based on her reaction, based on her response. So I would have probably handled it a totally different way, but I'm a totally different person. And I can't say how I would respond if I was in her shoes because I'm not in her exact shoes. Yeah. But I think that there's a time and a place for everything. And that for the first time out, that was a lot of energy. That was a lot of emotion. That was a lot of fringe stuff that was unnecessary. all that was not necessary.
Can I add this one thought before you jump? I think I say this respectfully, very, very respectfully. I think he likes all of that. I think he knew that she was loud. It's just like Carrie Bryant. He knew she was loud. He knew that she was X, Y, and Z things, right? And that's not, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I think men like that. And I'm not saying like that. I think they like that. They like a little, they like a little, I won't call it, they like a little rough around the edges. And this is me personally. I think for men like that, high personalities, high level intelligence, my personal opinion, you gotta have somebody that kind of settles you down like that. That's just my personal opinion. Okay.
Okay,
Continue.
so I'm going to jump in here. I normally let y'all talk till y'all get tired, but this time I need to jump in because I want to put a couple things on here, and I want to give my personal opinion, which I don't always do. But I want to shout out my bro, Pastor Chris Williams, out formerly from the Bay, now in Atlanta. He says the real question is why should that even have to be defended? He further says, after all, he is a well-accomplished artist, and the first expectation is that he has the wealth and the resources independently of his local church to acquire and afford that level of lifestyle. Then we've got Sonny Vaughn who chimes in, who says, it really wasn't necessary. Personal finances are just that, personal. And no one should feel obligated to explain them. If unfortunately took away from it unfortunately took away from what should have been a beautiful and meaningful moment, welcoming her to her new congregation.
Yes, Sonny.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And then David McKinney says that does everything have to be addressed? Must we always respond and clap back?
That's so good.
So as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and it kind of goes along with my bro Chris is saying, it may have been lawful, meaning it could have been the right thing, but was it expedient? Meaning, was it the right time? So, and that's where the difference between knowledge and wisdom still comes in. Knowledge says, okay, I know how to drive a car, but wisdom says I don't drive the car 100 miles an hour down the freeway, because there are the decisions that we make, the things that we do. We're either going to reap a harvest or we're going to suffer repercussions. So, from what happened on Sunday, did we reap a harvest, or are we ultimately in the public's eye going to suffer repercussions from comments that, again, they were probably correct comments to make, but was that really the right time to have those type of comments? My mama said, and then I definitely want to hear from Ja'Cory. My mama said when I was growing up as a kid, my mother passed when I was a young man, but my mother always told me, she said, boy, you don't have to chase down the lie.
These are facts.
And if the money came from them and not from the church, the people who were saying it was from the church was a lie. You don't have to chase that down. You don't have to defend all that kind of stuff. Just live your life. Go on and be happy. Be in a marital bliss and be able to make things happen. And if you want to address it later. It was Easter. We were welcoming you they were welcoming you as the First Lady. Thank you so much for your welcoming. I can't wait to get to work with Bishop Sapp and taking this church to the next level. I will talk to you soon. Whatever. So, again, lawful and expedient. We need to really study those type of things in this time. Ja'Cory, man, as we close out this whole thing, what's your thought on that, bro?
I feel like we are doing the wrong fishing at the wrong time when it comes to the platform of the sacred desk. I mean, I used to fish with my father, and there's a way you fish. You can go fish with live bait, or you can use a jig bait. I think we're just fishing wrong totally. I know that we all have feelings, but is your feelings and emotions always the proper place on a Sunday morning to do the spew? And I totally understand, because I have feelings. We all have feelings, but there's a time and a place for you to present them. And I think now we have in our head what we think this First Lady is going to be about.
Yeah.
Because of this first, it is. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, one thing I've learned from somebody really big in my world, which is Kim Burrell, is they're going to talk.
Yeah.
You got to find a way and a space and a place or persons to where you can get it off of you, that you can keep going. But I was ready to fight, because we had somebody in the Bay Area talking about her when she came here, and she was just like, this is not your fight.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about it. But my thing is, if they want to make a free billboard for you, go on, talk, because it just keeps your name ringing.
Right.
And
That's good.
Yeah. That's real talk. That's good stuff. I love that wisdom that you just imparted upon us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mama Yolanda, for teaching your young man the right way.
Yes.
Yeah, so I have what Ashlyn put on the screen or typed in the comments rather. I just wanted to put this on here, and she says using wisdom as a first lady of the church involves embodying the person of the word she said of Lady Wisdom. That's a tongue twister.
Personification.
Thank you. It's a tongue twister. I'm trying to tell you by blending spiritual insight, humility, and strategic leadership. I think that is great stuff. And then Bishop Charles Reed says, hey man, at the end of the day, who cares? Enjoy your wedding. It's not the wedding that makes the marriage in the first place.
That's right.
Man, I'm not mad at you. And then he further says, my saying, I can show you better than I can tell you. And again, showing you doesn't require talking. It doesn't require a clap back. So, but anyway, hey.
But Dito, before you leave, I think the real issue here is, we don't have the hierarchy in women, our pastoralship, to where a mother could come to her and say, "Hey, baby," like back in the day. I wouldn't have done that. Or you should have did this a little differently. Can you sit down? We don't have pastor rings in the church, and then we don't have people that will listen to a pastor ring. So we need to have some sit downs. We need to sit down some of the words on Sunday morning and teach some fundamental.
That's good.
No, I agree.
To build on.
That's good, Ja'Cory.
I'm not mad at you on that, man. I'm not mad at that at all. That is good. That is right. We don't have the church mothers that we used to. That's because the grandmas are no longer, 60, 70 years old. They're 35, they're 37. And
with no wisdom and power.
None whatsoever. So, so we do not have the church mothers any longer. And now the ones that we do have, sometimes when they try to say something, because now, we got all these different young folks that think they're grown when they're not. Now they don't want to listen. As Ja'Cory mentioned, they don't want to listen to sound advice. Which that is definitely pointing us in the wrong direction. But I'm going to keep praying that wisdom will abide amongst those who call themselves the leaders of our churches. All right, y'all, we are going to keep things going, and in doing so, I'm going to throw a little bit of a curve. We're going to it's still shop talk, but I want to go in a different direction because I want to mention something that came across my desk, and I really want to hear y'all's opinion on this.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my.
So in the state of Tennessee, just a few weeks ago, the headline of this whole story is a woman is suing a dealership after an employee took her car on date night. So let me pull this thing, and I'm gonna read the story. I want to pull this whole thing together. So in Tennessee, now, like myself, many people do different things. Now, a lot of people don't go back to the dealership. They use shade tree mechanics to fix their car. I am not one of those people. But this particular woman took her car, her Mercedes, back to the Mercedes dealership. And let me read the story. A Tennessee woman is suing a car dealership after an employee allegedly took her Mercedes-Benz on a date while the car was in for repairs. This young lady dropped her Mercedes off her C300 AMG, which is more of the top of the line, at a dealership. And she got a GPS alert saying that her car was moving. She drove her loaner vehicle to the location and found her car was in the parking lot. She waited and watched. When the dealership employee returned, she called the police. The man later was identified and he is an employee of the dealership and told the police that, yes, I was out on a date. He said that young man was later arrested and charged with theft of property. And the young lady her name is Kimberly Porter. And she alleges that after his arrest, the dealership representatives pressured her to drop the charges and threatened to report her for stealing the loaner car. And so now she is suing both the employee and the dealership.
That's right.
I definitely want you all to chime in and to give me your opinions on this. Now, Ashlyn, just imagine taking your SUV to get it serviced. You're in a loaner. You're at home doing whatever it is that you do, and you get a notification that your car is somewhere else. You go there and find somebody using your car on a date.
Yeah.
What is going to be your reaction?
No, well, first of all, I have a spare key. So I would have taken my car back right on the date. I would have taken the car right back. If he had valeted or he had parked it somewhere, guess what? It would not be there when he got back. I would deal with getting the other key or changing the lock or doing whatever I need to do. But he would be absolutely embarrassed when he came out and there was no car. But I think she is absolutely justified. I cannot believe that the dealership then tried to double down on saying that, you know, that there was no wrong or trying to manipulate her out of pressing charges. That's absolutely ridiculous. And I would even venture to say this probably happens more often than we think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Imagine that this happens way more often. And I'm old school. Like I don't have, you know, I'm Apple, your iPhone will tell you where you parked your car. Like that basic, you know, that basic. I don't have the air tags and the all that stuff to find I don't have any of that in my car. I'm just telling y'all. But what I do have, I take a picture of my mileage. Always. If I drop my car off somewhere, I would take a picture of my mileage and I see where the odometer has been left. And you know, that's old school right there. So, you know, just in case. Now, it's not that I go around with trust issues and I don't trust people, but you just never know. And so then you bring that evidence back to say, hey, I left it off and it had 15 miles and now it has 115 miles. Where did the car go? So I think it happens more often than not. And yeah, she's justified. Go ahead, girl, get all the money. Sue them, him, the dealership. What kind of car is it? Mercedes? We suing Mercedes. Why would they hire some people? Yeah. Go on and get lawyer up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
And Diamond Fee says, who we both share the same type of car. She said, "You better not take my Challenger on a date. I'm not mad at you." Donnell Green, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a minute. What's going on? He says, all of these dealerships do that. And then Sonny Vaughn says that this is the dealership's fault 10,000%. And then Patricia Cummins just chimes in and says, the nerve of that dealership. Yes, she should sue. That's just wrong for someone to take your car from the dealership and to go on a date. Corey, I throw it out to you, man. I want to hear your opinion, man. You take your car, you know, just get a little change or whatever it might be. They give you a loaner, and you know, apparently it took more than one day to do her servicing. Actually, it had to take a few days because she dropped the car off in December. This incident happened in January, so they had her car for a little while. But Jacory, man, you take your car down there just to get some servicing, and now it's out on a date with somebody. Man, what is Jacory going to be doing?
I just hope she got a good attorney because I'm about to get paid, and I'm probably going to have my own dealership because this one is closing down. And that's all I have to say.
I'm not mad at you. This one is closing down. I'm not mad.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm not mad. My friend, my bro, Pastor Paul McCurry says, that was very wrong. However, we all need to remember we signed that document that says we give the dealership permission to drive the car.
Wow.
It's supposed to be a test drive, but I've seen where that drive has taken people to lunch, to dinner. He says, I even saw one where the car was totaled while being test driven. Very, very interesting. And that is true. We do sign a contract saying that they can test drive it. I didn't think they was going to crustaceans a thing long on my car on a date. But I get you, Pastor. I'm not mad at it, man. But I appreciate y'all all for chiming in. I appreciate everyone giving me their thoughts. Ashlyn, we throw it out to you because some incredible things happened over the last couple of days that took us to the moon. And we've got some different things happening here in the world that can make us smile. Now, everything does not make us smile nowadays here in the USA, but this is a smiling type of situation. So, Ashlyn, I throw it out to you. The virtual floor is yours.
Oh, absolutely. I am so happy to bring you this story. If you have been on social media, hopefully your algorithm has brought you this heartwarming story. This has just been absolutely incredible. We have a launch. We have a rocket ship. We have real live astronauts out in space right now. April 1st, NASA launched the Artemis 2 mission, which is carrying 4 astronauts on a 10-day lunar flyby. Lunar is the moon flyby, marking the first crewed trip to the moon in 54 years. For those of you that remember Houston, we have a problem, or, one small step for mankind, one giant leap for whatever y'all know it, right? And there was so much speculation. It wasn't true. It wasn't real. But anyway, this is the first crewed trip to the moon in 54 years. So astronauts include the names Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen, who I believe is Canadian. Shout out to the Canadians. They're conducting a historic journey orbiting the moon to test systems for future landings. And so the goal of the mission is to do to test deep space systems, including Orion spacecraft life support. Jeremy Hansen is, of course, the Canadian Space Agency. Victor Glover, a Black man, is up in space, and so we're just so excited. Now, if you've been following this story, everything that they've been putting on social media has just been so positive. They have just been talking about how even though we're so separate and they're out there in space, they're watching Earth, they're shouting out the different continents as they see Africa and Asia, and giving people hope and encouragement that we are not really that different, and we're not that far away from each other. So I just want to encourage you to go check out NASA's social media. Go support them. Go watch all the videos. It's just been so heartwarming and lovely. And they are due back on April 10th. And with a splashdown in the Pacific Ocean, which is over here on off the West Coast. I'm not sure what the exact coordinates are, but it's just a heartwarming story. And go do yourself a favor and go check it out.
That's good stuff. I can appreciate that, and definitely want to shout them out for doing that, because I would have been scared. I'm already kind of scared of heights anyway. But anyway, grateful for them for making that happen. We're going to keep things going, and in doing so, we're going to get ready to bring up our next co-host out in Atlanta of Georgia, and we're probably going to hang out there for a few minutes as we're talking about some things going on. But let's get ready to bring up, without further ado, Emetrius Hunter. What is going on, man? Welcome to today's show.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just wanted to definitely tap in, check in, and say hello to everybody out there in the Shop Talk land, and hello to all of our wonderful hosts and co-hosts on today. I have been extremely busy. Been a very busy day here as we're going through some interview processes, and I just haven't put an interview on my schedule when I'm scheduled to be here. So I need to bring them back up to speed on my schedule. But hey, Jacory, brother, are you here?
We are here.
Because you've been like this. I ain't see that move. I'm like, is he frozen?
I'm here.
Or are you up there? Are you in space? I don't know. What's going on?
Hilarious. Now, we are glad to have you hanging out with us. Speaking of hanging out with us, you're in Atlanta, and
yes,
Atlanta has been a great place for bringing back R&B classics.
Yes,
presented that way. Many of you, my wife, who says that she is a virtual member of New Birth in Atlanta. I got a chance to watch.
You about to talk about the same thing?
Well, first of all, they had Keith Sweat first. Sweat first, and shout out to Keith Sweat, man. He's still doing his thing.
Is he?
Yeah, he's still doing his thing.
Yeah.
He's still dying I'm sorry. He still looks good. He still looks young.
I was never a Keith fan. I his voice just used to drain. It just seemed like he was just whining, and so I just never really got into Keith Sweat. And I was like, okay, yeah. I liked him on LSG though. Don't get me wrong. LSG was the vibe. But Keith by himself, I can never tap in. I just could never get with it. I don't know why.
Yeah, he's not my favorite, but he recently has been at New Birth. But as of I think last night, I didn't get a chance to watch it. And Allegra didn't tell me that she watched it, but I heard that Tank was in the building with some sort of a turtleneck. I get, was he hot? I don't know what was going on.
No, it was.
He wasn't wearing the turtleneck. Somebody else was wearing the turtleneck. It's turned into a whole meme.
Yeah. It's a joke from the battle with him and Tyrese.
Tyrese was the one.
And
with
Tyrese
the
had the turtleneck on, and Tank was like, "Man, it's hot out here. Why you got a turtleneck?" So it kind of spinned off from that, and just kind of built a little viral moment for them. I actually love their battle. I love the camaraderie, the brotherhood between the two. But I enjoyed it. But yeah, that's where that tank turtleneck came from.
I got you. So Yolanda wants to share a bit of a story. So Yolanda, we throw it over to you. The virtual floor is now yours.
No, I just thought it was cool. Last night, Tank was at New Birth for their Tuesday therapy Bible study. So he was there, and they recorded Pastor Jamal Bryant's podcast last night.
That was
So
actually the purpose of it. So he's now doing live podcasting.
oh yes,
Where he's
yes,
allowing
yes.
the community to come out and actually sit in these sessions, which are still educational and teachable, as Yolanda's mentioned. So like their Bible study night. So they're still informative and educational. I think it's a wonderful idea, especially for people that are out there podcasting and having fun. It's a beautiful idea. I actually loved it. I haven't been. New Birth is a little too far from where I live now. But yeah. If I find somebody that's going, I'll hop in the car with them. But that drive.
Yeah, I heard New Birth is a little far, but I thought it was great. I want to work a long time, so I reserve my. I mean, it was cool, but sometimes moments are just that. I say it like that. Like moments are just that, right? And so sometimes in those moments, it doesn't fly right again. And I just didn't think, as much as y'all hear me say all these great things about Jamal, I am a huge Tank fan. I just thought the moment didn't fly right. But what I did appreciate was the conversation. I
Right.
appreciated the conversation between Pastor Brian and Tank, and what they talked about his life and the end. And it wasn't just about his life in church. It was about the actual industry and what's happening, what's going on. And I thought that was cool. And then baby Tank got full. Okay, so then they started. Let me tell you something. You can only, when you start really thinking about what God has done, I just don't know how you can suppress it. And I think he was trying to kind of like be chill and be cool. And he started saying that no weapon. And that boy turned around. I said, "Oh, you getting fooled, honey. You getting
Because
fooled."
he was in an environment that was able to push him
Yeah.
into that space. Because I've seen Tank perform gospel music live before, and I have to agree with Yolanda. That moment right there, I've never seen Tank with a gospel
Yeah, I haven't
gospel
seen Tank
number.
like that.
Like,
Maybe I have once before, but he kept. I said, "Oh, you're trying to control it, aren't you? You trying to." He kept trying to turn. I said, "Oh no, you fool, baby cakes." You
but he was
started
in his
thinking about where you
roots.
could have been and what could have happened to you. And I told my friend, I said, "You know what? He probably, it's my opinion. He probably started thinking where he could have been and what could have
Ah,
happened and the
mm.
spaces he was in. And Tank was around a lot of spaces and where he is compared to where other people are. And I tell you, that man got full. I said, "Oh yeah, you." I thought it was amazing though. Real talk. I loved the conversation. I thought the conversation was great.
It's good stuff. I'm not mad at it. And I put on what Donnell Green mentioned. I thought that's quite interesting. He says, "What happened to Bible study in churches? This is not the Oprah show."
There was Bible study
I mean,
though.
that
I
is
mean,
Bible study. Let's
there
be
was
clear.
Bible
Talk
study.
shows are a formality of some type of presentation with commentary to where it's not Bible study. I'm going to say Bible study, but I mean, if you outline Bible study is kind of the same text. It's just with a talk show, you're actually, getting more information, getting to know more personable with the person you're interviewing, as opposed to Bible study, you're getting more personable and in depth with the Bible, with the
And
Word of God. So the
yeah.
two kind of can go align. It's just the presentations are different, and of course the correspondence is different as
And it
well.
was a whole thing. He actually
What you
preached.
Corey? What?
Like, I mean, he preached before though. He actually did do quote unquote Bible
What you
study.
Corey?
So
What you
he
want
I
preached
to
just
before, then the song happened, then the conversation happened. He didn't like exile God or
I'm
anything.
with you, Yolanda, on that
to,
piece. I
to
got
the
you. I'm
whole
with you on
point
that.
of to the whole point, we need church change, period. So I don't think anything's wrong with it, because the thing is, my story is Bible. It just hasn't been written yet. I think
Okay.
we can get so caught up because, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm having a lot of issues. Not that I don't believe in Jesus and all of this, but it's so much stuff happening in church to where I'm like, some of this stuff I got to peel it back to see if I actually believe it. We're talking about the Bible. It's been rewritten how many times?
Ooh, Jesus.
Yep.
We ain't got enough fingers and
So my
toes
thing
to
is,
count.
once I tell the story and then you try to tell my story, it's gonna be different. So I mean, I don't think it's anything wrong with changing some of the formalities that we have in church, because we're trying to reach a different crowd of people.
And
But the
exactly.
only issue I had is sometimes when I know he sings R&B. He fluttered me on the verses because he was just cussing so much for no reason.
Oh, you did.
My thing to where it's now, and don't get me wrong, I've talked to Tank. He reached out to me to try to get me to do some stuff and it didn't work. I'm a Tank lover, but it was just like, why are you cussing when you're the foundation of gospel? You're pioneering in R&B right now. So I need you to walk in a little more grace and wisdom, because R&B is doing something different. So all of the young people are looking to you. No shade. It was just like, I mean, you got to watch some of the stuff you do, because it will come back to hunt you.
No, and I totally agree with you. But one thing I've learned with R&B artists, especially ones that are birthed out of the church, which you can identify with, like a Tank and a Tyrese, that have kind of had some type of church in their background. A lot of them have, in these certain rooms and certain stages with them doing R&B. That's why I said, I've never seen him get this like caught up, choked up in a gospel, doing a gospel song like he did on the Jamal Bryant podcast. But again, what I've seen him before, as I stated, that he was not in this room, though. He did not have these people in this room. We have church people that go to these concerts. It was church people sitting in the audience at Versus. But again, in that room and where they're at, those people are not there to support him in that aspect of his life. They just want to hear the music and whatever else you got coming on and anything else. They hear your Jesus story, but they still want you to sing your latest hit. And that's where it kind of differentiates the two. That I've had to learn. I've been completely right there. I've had to learn how they kind of maneuver and move and do things when they're artists that are acceptable amongst the gospel community, but not really a gospel artist. But if you know, I kind of know where I'm going with that.
I hear you. I'm with you. I mean, and it's interesting. It's an interesting thing. I see a lot of churches starting to change their format in terms of what they do for their midweek services. Change can be good. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Listen, I'm looking up at the clock, and we're about to be out of time. But before we do, Ashlyn wanted to get my attention for one more thing. So, Ashlyn, the virtual floor is now yours.
Oh, thank you, Dito. I didn't know we had time enough to do that. I just wanted to let y'all know, recently I had the pleasure of, I work with a lot of artists. I was singing with BB Winans this last week and Jonathan Butler, and I had just an amazing pleasure of recording with Take Six several months ago, and the song is out. We did a version of It Is Well, and I hope that you have had a chance to listen to it. It's absolutely reimagined and inspired. And we did a video at the same time. We flew to Nashville, and we did a video in Nashville. And so I just wanted to encourage y'all to look it up. The project is called Radiance, and the single is It Is Well, with myself and Take Six and David Phelps. And it is such a blessing. I just thank God for just continuing to open doors. And so go look for it. It's available on all digital music platforms, and the video is available on YouTube now.
Absolutely. Good stuff. As we get ready to go, I'm going to put something on the screen. I want to see if you all are able to do this, but I'll put something on the screen. It is like a voting type thing. And I just want to know if you're able to see it. And if you are you able to vote? We're trying something new, and we're just trying to see if you are able to vote or not. So those of you watching the screen, if you are able to click and tap on the screen to vote, let us know. I will definitely know. I don't know. You have to. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So
tap on the screen.
On your, if you're in Facebook or something. I don't know how this works. I'm trying it for the first time. So if you're able to vote, great. If you're not, we'll figure it out. So anyway, I'm gonna leave that on the screen. Listen, we're not out of conversation. We're never out of conversation, but we're merely running out of time. And as we get ready to go, I don't see how we can vote either. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't see a way. Anyway, till the next time on this same Shop Talk Network at this same Shop Talk time, on behalf of Yolanda Morant, Ashlyn Cole, Demetrius Hunter, and Ja'Cory Prothro, my name's Demetrius Tollfree. Until the next time, you know how we do it. You can help us say it out. Well, we got a video. Anyway.